if seeing Michael Brown lay in the street for 4.5 hours doesn't wake you up, this is not gonna do it.
Like, y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on.
Alright, so my name is Deshaun Harrison. You can follow me on Twitter at _IamRoyal, IAMROYAL. On Facebook and Instagram at DaGodLyShaun, DaGodLyShaun. And you can check out my portfolio, my rates, and other stuff at DeshaunHarrison.com.
My name is Jatella, Jatella on Instagram and Twitter. I am a senior English major, religion minor at Morehouse College. I write on Black queer theory and Black visual culture.
Absolutely, and to the right.
My name is Raekwon. You can follow me on Twitter at IAM_Raekwon, and you can follow me on Instagram at IAM_Raekwon_, and I am a sophomore studying sociology at Morehouse College.
So, we're gathered today to talk about the video that came out. When did it come out yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah. This is America. And our guy, Childish Gambino, what's his name this week?
Donald Glover.
Has dropped a video and he said, "This is America," and it has shook some girls up, some boys, some kids, everybody. Everybody shook. So what was your first reaction when you first saw it the first time?
So, we were celebrating Cinco de Mayo, Deshaun and myself and some other friends. And we were in the middle of a Uno game, and I seen it on Twitter. I seen like a snippet of it on Twitter, so I went looking for it on YouTube, and then I like quit the Uno game to sit and watch it. Initially, I thought that, so when I got introduced to the clip, of course, it was the clip on Twitter where he shot at the choir, and I was like, wow, this is a lot, but I want to see the whole thing. So then I watched it from start to finish. And I thought that the references to the way America disposes of black bodies was pretty accurate because with the church shooting and of course the execution of the man at the beginning, I think it does represent America. Like, this is America for black lives. So,
What about you, Deshaun? What was your first reaction?
So I was also introduced to the snippet, right, on Twitter.
Was it like a 30-second snippet?
No, it was like a 2-minute,
2-minute
snippet, and it like went from him dancing with the kids to the church scene to walking off. So I didn't need to see the whole video. Like, I saw the whole video a couple hours afterwards, but my initial response was like, "This is some bullshit." Like, I understood the fact that this is America. Like, I thought that if I had to like assign some sort of like artistic lens to it, I thought it was interesting and important that like he and the kids were in the forefront dancing while a lot of like commotion was going on in the background, while a lot of like chaos was happening in the background. That is America, that black folks are, from what I took from it, are like finding some sense of joy in like the middle of this chaos happening in America. But I thought that the video was bullshit because I don't think that any of us have to be reminded that Black death is ever prevalent, especially in America, or ever present, and that like that has to be on display. So what I saw in the video was just like him recreating really tragic and like really traumatic events that happened to black folk, and I thought that was just largely unnecessary. And then I saw on Twitter that folks were like claiming that the guy in the beginning of the video was Trayvon Martin's father. It's not his father, but that adds a different layer to it, right? Like,
so you're saying that this is father, like it was supposed to
that's what
be the symbol of his father,
right? No, it's supposed to be like actual. They thought it was actually Tracy.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't actually Tracy.
Okay.
It was another artist by the name of Calvin something. I can't remember his last name.
Okay.
But anyway, so that's what it was. But like when I saw that added a different layer because it's like, if this person is being asked to be re-traumatized about his son's murder, if he's being asked to like sit in the middle of this music production to reinvent or like to recreate a moment that that was hella traumatic for him, like that makes no sense to me whatsoever. And I think that we're at a place now where we don't have to we don't have to like continue to produce and consume our own pain and our own trauma because we've been there, we've done that. But I don't want to talk too much more, so I'll let Jordan.
Oh, we got time. We're going. What did you think about it? I'm about to call him T'Challa. Better than Papa.
So I was on Instagram procrastinating on paper, and the first thing I saw was Childish. Of course, I follow Childish Gambino on Instagram, and the first thing I saw was the close-up shot on his back of him like getting ready to dance, and the lens zooming out slowly. And I, of course, again, that I'm kind of a fan of Childish Gambino's work. I was like, oh my God, I need to find out what the fuck this is. So went to his page. He was like, link in bio. Went to the bio. Viewed the video from beginning to end. And my initial reactions were, where the fuck is the trigger warning?
That's a good point.
And
So you think it should have been like a message first, like, hey, this might be such and such, this might be a little bit traumatizing?
I think we could, sure. Yeah, I think we can negotiate that. Sure. I think that should have been there. But also my other reaction or my other thought was, what is this trying to say about Black Death, revolution, chaos, activism TM, and Black joy? Because those were those were the first type of more overarching articulations or abstract pronouncements that I thought were in the video that I initially caught. I haven't sat with them long enough to kind of get any others that might be there, but those were the first that came to mind, and I was concerned with, of course, how it could be triggering, and also how is this allowing or disallowing articulations of Black death, Black joy, and activism.
Do y'all think that he was supposed to? When I first watched it, I was watching with a friend, and they pulled it up. I wasn't interested in watching it that much. I was like, okay, da da da. And I watched it, and immediately I was like, I didn't understand where he was going from. I just didn't get it, and immediately I just thought that Childish is just trying to be that weird individual, doing just the less than, and everybody's gonna go up for it. I just think it's like a herd mentality type of shit. Like, oh, I love it. I love his cutting edge. It's new. I was like, girl, I already know the buzzwords. So it's not until like today, because I only watched it once. When I watched it again and I started paying attention to what people were saying, there were this specific girl. I can't think of this Black Twitter woman. She was on Twitter. She was like going in. She started a whole thread. And a couple of my other folks started,
Zalika?
I think it was her.
That's my said.
Zika? She did a whole thread and she had a GoFundMe after it.
That's Zalika.
Okay, yes. Yeah. I'm definitely going to have her information there because she really broke it down. She really broke it down. And even when people responded, she had a response for it. And I just thought like, it made me. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw her.
You'll see her stuff.
Yeah.
But she is. And I made sure to go from me and say, listen, before I copy your tweet and put it in my blog on geekeries.com, that you check it out and support her.
Right.
And she just broke it down and she had a conversation about it, and it made me think, like, it made me look into Childish Gambino as a person. And some other folks said some things, and I started to go through his past. And some of the things he said, some people say he was fetishizing Asian women. He used to say problematic shit about Black women. Like, these are tweets from like 2010. And yeah, there was some stuff that he did, and they were saying he was the token Black boy. And like, I didn't. So if you were to change it, do you think that Childish, he should have been a white man doing it? Should have been a white man.
Absolutely not.
Shooting?
Some people, doing the shooting and stuff.
Some folks did suggest that.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to one of my friends who works at SLU right now as a professor, and he was saying kind of what throws a wrench in some of the theorizations around it, kind of critique it being a critique of or a conversation about Black Death, is that a Black person is almost the technology of the Black Death in this video. No. I mean, like, yes, but no, because then are we asking for a white person to be doing this? That really becomes a different type of and an even more egregious injury in my mind. Mm-hmm. So yeah, no, like, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that is true, right? Like, Black folks are acting as like the instrument behind all of that that's happening in the thing. And one of my followers.
You think that's what he's trying to say in his art?
I don't think that's what he's trying to say. No, I think that he was attempting to commodify wokeness while like being able to release his art. And so one of my followers and one of my good friends, like, she brought it up as well, was that like a big issue for her was that it was this Black man who was like reenacting this violence done by white people and whiteness. My issue was that it was done in the first place. I think we've had these critiques of, like, putting him aside, he's not the first one to ever have done this. He's not the first one to like have had these critiques made against him. I remember a year or two ago, I made the same critiques against Orange is the New Black with their second to last season, when they had the police violence that happened in the show and that kind of thing. And it was also true with Dear White People and with like these other shows, these other like songs, these other movements that have happened like over the course of over the last couple of years. People have like commodified and reproduced Black pain and Black trauma as a way to claim that they are involved in the work of reawakening people or bringing folks to consciousness, right? But like what it really does is it re-traumatizes the people who are at the crux of like this form of domination, while the people who have yet to get it are still not going to get it, because that art is not going to do it for them, right? Like if seeing Michael Brown lay in the street for 4.5 hours doesn't wake you up, this is not going to do it. If seeing pictures float around social media of Sandra Bland didn't wake you up, this is not going to do it, right? So like, if we're like talking about reimagining and re-understanding like Black death and Black pain and what it looks like in America, I think that what he could have done was release the song. The song was cute. The song was okay.
No, I like it.
Like, release the song, but then join the conversation that's already existing with folks that are already on the ground doing the actual work, right? Mm-hmm. To make sure that conversation doesn't get taken over by his views or by his engagement, while also being responsible with his platform and his audience.
Yeah. So when we're talking about the lyrics, some of the lyrics, from me listening to it and reading it, it sounded like I was getting pound cake speech from it. I'm like, I was getting, the infamous pound cake speech by Bill Cosby, pull up your pants. To me, it seemed like he was just saying, like, talking to Black people, like, y'all are more concerned about like dancing and whatever the shit than what's going on around you, and you need to pay attention. You need to be quote unquote woke and understanding what's going on. Like, did y'all get that from that?
I did not get that. Honestly, I didn't hear. I haven't paid that much attention to the lyrics because I've been trying to, I guess, do this. This visual cultural critique of it, and I think he intended for that to happen. I don't think he really intended for anyone to hear the lyrics.
Right.
However, it will be interesting to later think together the lyrics and the visual.
Well, I'm gonna say one. This is America. Don't catch you slipping. Look at how I'm living now. Police be tripping now. Yeah, this is America. Guns in my area. I got the strap. I gotta carry them. Yeah, I gotta get into this. Yeah, I gotta. This is gorilla. Woo. Yeah, I gotta get the bag. Well, now that you say, I can see a little bit. I'm still getting that. Like, we need to be paying attention to what's going on, and it's almost like it's a conversation towards us, or are you intended for the people who are doing it to hear it? Because I don't see this getting to them. It's giving me very dance and I'm gonna have a good. He's doing the same thing.
Right. But once you mention those lyrics, I will be honest and say I have not paid close attention to the lyrics, honestly. I haven't cared enough because, again, like spending time with the actual visual. But hearing those lyrics coupled with the visual of the song, to me, almost does sound like it is a critique of black people and like that we're trying to get the bag, or that we're so invested in like trying to survive, or like, well, he's not saying survive, but I'm saying that we're so concerned with surviving or with being able to live under capitalism, under anti-blackness, that we're missing what's happening in the rest of the world. And I think that's total bullshit, because if you follow anything that's happened over at the least the last 4 years, the last 5 years, the last 8 years, you see that black folks have been at the forefront of this political climate, this political movement, and that has been true since our existence in America. So like, I think I have to spend time with the lyrics more now, but if that's what he's saying, I think that's bullshit.
I'm gonna give y'all one more lyric. He says, "I'm so fitted, woo. I'm on Gucci. I'm so pretty. Yeah. That sounds like some ego shit. I'm gonna get it. Hey, I'm gonna get it. Watch me move. This is a set. That's a 2 on my Kodak." It's just, to me, listening to, and I know how it is when you slow it down and that.
Yeah.
But even these, it sounds like I'm literally hearing Bill O'Reilly talking to somebody. Like, y'all are concerned about Gucci and this, and y'all don't have a father figure in your homes. This is what I'm getting from.
I think it's putting emphasis on America, though. Like, and I don't like, in regards to the song being called "This Is America." Like, I think that's like, that's where I've been. Like, and I think, to me, even personally, like the video, like, because initially I shared the same thought as you. Was like, damn, where's the trigger warning? Like, people are getting shot in this video.
The trauma doesn't have a trigger warning.
Right, and that's what I was about to say. When we turn on the TV, there's no trigger warning for the disposal of black bodies. So when nobody said, there was not a trigger warning when you walked outside, you seen Mark Brown on the street. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And this is America, and that's what I'm stuck in. So like, I think if you overread it, it could come slightly off as a critique, or like, hey, I'm in this position that like my musicality has allowed me to navigate to like be in this capitalist position. However, I think it's like he's rapping / singing. I think the reality of America, because like we know, like if we reread the lyrics, like we know somebody, we know how to identify each person. So even when he made the commentary about guns, because after the use of guns, like I was just super focused on the guns individual. Like even the fact that after the use of guns, it always got placed in like a red flag or a red bandana. But even when he's like, okay, there's guns in my area, I gotta carry them. That's true.
Yeah, that is true.
That's really true. Like I think to me, like the visual coupled with the lyrics really nails the reality of America. Like there's no trigger warning for our disposal, and that like in the moment in which we get super carried away or super tied into the disposal of black bodies at times, it's chaotic, as his background was. So I think he nailed it in regards to like the reality of what America is or what it has become. So like for like my little brothers and sisters that might watch it, I think it might be like, okay, damn, like this is happening. This is like how it's been happening for a while. Like this could even possibly be an introduction to history for a younger generation. It made me like, I don't know, like at first I like it might be considering like the situation, the position I was in when I first viewed it, but I was like, okay, in the weirdest way, it could possibly be seen as a call to action, I think.
But I noticed you said this to your brothers and sisters, so it sounds like ultimately the message is not for white people. It sounds like it's for us.
The message is for white people.
Do you think it's for white people?
Well, I think that. So I think. And this is a great juncture in the conversation for white people.
Dear white people.
Dear white people. So I think we get on a very slippery slope, when we begin to believe that we have fully unpacked the reality of black ontology in America. Mm-hmm. Like, what does it mean for the black body to be encased in a flesh that's constantly being lacerated? Mm-hmm. Like, I think we get on a very slippery slope when we can say, like, we get this. I get this. Like, Black Death, I get that. Mm-hmm. No, you don't.
You really don't.
You really don't.
No.
You really don't get it. And though we see it, We are seeing it through the medium and through the grammar of media, through the grammar of the news, through the grammar that comes in all these different, late modern apparatuses. But instead with the art, when it comes down to black art or black people producing art, it offers a different grammar to Black death than the grammar that has been often used in the media and on the news on Channel 7. You know what I'm saying? So I think that when Black people create Black art, not necessarily when Black people are in art, but when Black people do create Black art, it is resistant to the type of discourse that Black bodies have to funnel through when talking about their death, when talking about their injury. And in that way, we can think of Childish Gambino as offering a different grammar or a different way by which we can begin to talk or think Black death, Black revolution,
Right.
Black joy.
Right.
However, also, this question of four, it cannot be had without this question of commodity, this question of commodification, and this question of capitalism, right? And this question of Black art in that regime, right?
Okay.
And this is a question I post on Twitter, no one has really been able to answer, but when does Black art begin and stop being for white consumption? Horton Spillers talks about in her lecture on Black culture, how Black culture is critical culture, how Black culture is fundamentally about this relationality that Black existence has to a superstructure that produces or causes or becomes the conditions of possibility for Black beings to create otherwise, or Black beings to synthesize and alchemize the apparatuses of the technologies of white domination to create Black cultural product. When does these Black, so that means that Black cultural products are never not in conversation with the white dominant structure. At least there's always a dialogical relationship between white domination and Black culture. That means that Black cultural production and Black cultural products in white supremacy are always already going to be for, technically, white consumption. Because whether we like it or not, or whether we want them to hear it or not, or have access to it or not, it's being produced on colonized land, right? Whiteness is territorializing everything always already. So this idea of this is for whiteness. Well, this is for white people? How do we kind of measure that when whiteness has always already colonized whatever we produce, whether it's for them or not?
Okay, I get what you mean. When I say it, I think to me they're just not going to feel it, and I think there is ways to make them understand it, because I don't see anyone able to do a recreation of white people being killed to that type of situation. I don't see it. I don't see him able to put nothing like that. They're just not going to let it happen.